I just unboxed it. Just literally just got delivered. Why does it smell like Clorox? It smells like Sharpie marker. Is this what they mean when they said that there was lead in these things? Like when they first released? What the f? Hey guys, and welcome to my review of the Mess Toys Lethal Neighbor, or as obviously we know, Mess Toys Venom. This figure has been in the talks recently for being possibly one of the best 112 Venom figures, and after handling this figure for myself, I'm honestly inclined to believe that because it really is that good. So I'm excited to get into it. I've already had the figure for a day or two, and I just want to get my thoughts out there. So let's get started. Here's the box. It's pretty simple, pretty bland. See the figure spoiler. It's just basically a copy of their black suit Spider-Man box, but there's a bit of a purple hue, logos and stuff. But yeah, as you probably saw, I already opened the figure, so let's just. And here he is. And yeah, he looks absolutely incredible. This figure came out way better than I ever could have anticipated. This is super clean detailing, super clean paint. Here's the head sculpt that he comes with. The eyes are amazing. Let's focus it. The teeth are painted beautifully as well. It's creepy smile. Screams Venom. It's just super well done. The spider logo, here it is. Goes all around the joints, all the way to the back. Super well done. And these peg holes are for accessory attachments we'll get into later. Here is the fisted hands. These are not the hands he comes with out of the box, but I just put them on to show you the rectangle piece. I need to focus. Sorry about that, the way my lighting is, it's kind of off. Here it is. The legs, very well done, and we'll talk more about the changes to the knees in a bit. And these are not the feet he comes with out of the box. He does have the normal shoe type cover feet, but the reason I put this on, I'll explain it to you later. So just in a neutral position, just standing there, this is so imposing, so well done. This figure stands at around 7.5 inches, I want to say. Here he is next to the Mafex 075 Spider-Man. Yeah, he's definitely got height above him. So this Spider-Man is around 6 inches. This is definitely 7.5, maybe even close to 8. It's a very big boy, which to me, that fits. I like when Venom is a bigger dude. Not too big, he shouldn't be Hulk levels of huge, but this is definitely a very good height for Venom. Now, I'll just jump in straight into the articulation. I'm sure that's something people are very interested in seeing, and surprise, surprise, it's really good, but there are like a couple things you guys should definitely know about. So the head, let's see, great range, looks freely, a nice tilt. Without using the neck joint, he looks up that high. This could be done better, but I'll show you right here. The peg is very low. Like there's not too much room here for it to move. So if they just put it up a little higher, would have been a lot more beneficial for a range. But it's still decent, like especially with not activating this joint. Which, yes, there's a neck joint down here, so when you activate that joint as well, you get all the way up, then obviously all the way down. You get a lot of tilt. And here, the butterfly joints, same as all the other Robotech figures. It does move pretty well. It's just, there's a bit of friction, just for sure you could hear. And the shoulder joints. My copy does have the issue where it pops off. Yeah, right there. It's when you go and try and twist the shoulder 360, that's when it pops off, which is annoying. And it's weird that it only happens on this side. I'm not gonna do it right here. As you can see, it doesn't pop. This one does. I don't know what that's about. If there's any way I could fix this, you guys can let me know, but it's not too much of an issue because it just pops like in really easy. And If you kind of finagle it and you keep it in this extended position, you can do the 360 just fine. It's when you have it down like that, that's when it pops up. So yeah, something to keep in mind. But other than that, arms move really well. You got the angled bicep, swivels all around. The elbow at first thought didn't get that great of a bend, but I forgot to activate this joint right here. So as you can see, very deep bend, especially for a guy with big muscles. And standard wrist ball. And these are actually really sturdy. I really like how smooth this is. Doesn't feel like it's gonna break at all. I forgot to showcase the butterfly range in the initial review. So here is the range forward, and here's the range backwards. Very good. Now, this part impressed me the most. We have ball joint here, ball joint here, activating both, maximum range. Look at that. Damn close to 90. In fact, this might be 90-degree bend. So good to see that on a big figure. Arcing back. Look at that. Beautiful. This is gorgeous range. I love these Rebel-Tech bodies. Side to side at the bottom, side to side here. It's insane tilt. Look at that. And can angle it down on the side as well. Super. It just works so well. But something to note here: the waist ball tends to pop off a lot because he has gargantuan legs. The piece here, where the hip is, if you move the leg up and go to crunch, there's a tendency it pops. It didn't pop there, but I think it's when you do it to the side. No, whatever. But yeah, there's a tendency that it pops here at the waist when you move the legs, so just be mindful of that. I found that if you just use the diaphragm joint, because that's where you get most of the crunch, you can kind of subvert that, so that's fine. This crotch piece is relatively soft, but there isn't like enough space here for the legs to really go super high. So as you kind of saw earlier, the legs go out to here with just the hip, and obviously if you rotate the thigh, my thigh's kind of stuck, but there. If you rotate up, go all the way out. And here as well. This one's a little looser. There you go, all the way out. And you can go back a fair bit. It'll kick to the side. It's kind of weird, but see, this is as far back as it goes. As far back as I'm willing to go because I don't want to stretch the rubber diaper. And then forward. Yeah, there it is. See, when you kick forward too much, that's when the waist pops off. Not a huge deal, it's just annoying. So you have to, there you go, you have to pop it back in. So without trying to force it too much, this is as far as I'm willing to go forward, which is still not bad for a big guy. This is definitely more than serviceable. And you get more if you crunch the diaphragm up here. It looks like he's kicking higher. Move the arm out of the way. That's definitely good. Now the knees, I'm very happy with how they did this, but there's definitely room for improvement. So the big thing people don't like about these Rebel-Tech bodies, aside from the obvious cuts and articulation that can get in the way of sculpt, the knee flaps, which I agree is unnecessary. So when I saw that they were keen on fixing this with this Venom, I was very intrigued to see how it would work. And look at that. That's really well done. There's no flaps. There's not even that much of a gap. And it still bends in all the way. This is what the thing that I wanted to get at about how they can improve this. There's still like gap here. I don't really notice it from the side, it's just mainly here, but like that's literally, this is to me a non-issue. It still works amazingly. And then you get the bend here at the calf that lets you kick all the way in. Something interesting they did, they kind of went the Sentinel route where they gave these legs huge caverns to kick in. So I'm gonna show you again. Even without activating the calf joint, like here, I'll bend it back like this. Like it still bends in so much. And obviously with the calf joint, you can go all the way. And then get a swivel, obviously. Ankle rocker with a ball. Something else to note, these feet that I have on, these are the toad feet. The normal like shoe feet, they are very, sorry about that, my phone decided to take a nosedive, but as I was saying, these feet, the shoe comic book style feet, they are a nice thing to have. The people were really hoping they would get something like this, but maybe it's just my copy, but buyer beware. These feet are super loose on my figure. Like, look at this. And they're also smaller. So standing this guy with these feet, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah, see? Trying to stand him up normally. Okay, there we go. But for more extreme posing, this foot, especially, it's the loosest one. It really is a pain in the ass to pose with that, but it's nice to have options. Definitely, you could probably fix this with kikis or like maybe a little bit of super glue, but just keep that in mind. I'll definitely go about fixing this so that I can keep this look, because I do prefer the normal shoe look. The toe feet are cool. They're a cool addition if you want the more monster-like look, but it's just, you know, it's not really my preferred look. But I will, for the review, I'll keep those on because they seem to be more stable than the comic book feet. So for accessories, you get 4 heads, which is actually super nice. You obviously get the stock head, the creepy smile. And then you get this amazing head sculpt. Look at this detail. Look at the paint. That is so immaculately done. The eyes are so clean. I love the teeth, the fleshy inside of the mouth, the tongue, which is like a softer plastic. So that's good. Definitely won't break as easy. It would have been nice if there was a point of articulation inside where you could like swirl it around or move the tongue itself. Maybe if the tongue was a bendy wire. But this is obviously still more than enough. This is so cool. Definitely my favorite head sculpt. And on top of that, you get 2 Eddie Brock head sculpts. Here's the fully unmasked one with the additional neck piece. I think this is well done, but it's definitely a little flat. There's no wash or anything like that, just yellow on white skin with blue eyes. The face paint itself is really clean. Mess Toys has done really clean human heads, and we know they can, based off the Superior Spider-Man. They can do human heads really well. Look at that. Super clean. The hair as well, very nice. I definitely wouldn't mind displaying the figure like this. This is a nice Eddie Brock. And here we have basically half masked Eddie Brock with part of the Venom coming out. And this is also a really cool look. I like how the eye is barely like peeking over. You got the Venom eye here. A lot of details with the symbiote crawling over him. It's very nice. This is a nice head sculpt. It obviously I already showed you. In addition to the monster feet, you get the normal shoe feet. You get the fisted hands, and out of the box he comes with these hands. These like the rabby kind of open hands. And here's another pair of open hands. Actually, I think I mix matched them, but you get the point. These are like open hands. And here we actually get wall colors. Displayed on wall colors. I really like how these look. I like the Rebel Tech style wall colors. They look very expressive. In the second tray with this figure, you get the Venom display base. Basically, just the black suit display base, but I think the logo is a little different, obviously, to match Venom. I love these bases. They're super cool. The bendy wire in these are super stiff. They can hold the pose as well as you need them to. All you do is thread the screw. You thread this end into here, and it's as simple as that. Of course, you do get an additional clip for the stand. I do like a posing segment. I want to see if this clip is strong enough to, or is wide enough to even hold the figure. I imagine it is. And then really cool accessory pieces here. You get a bunch of symbiote tendrils, and this is the best one. You get this huge symbiote tendril effect. I think in the promotional image they show this one holding up a figure. I haven't tried putting a figure inside this effect. I imagine it's easy to fit if this is soft plastic. Well, it's not the softest plastic, but you can definitely move it out of the way to fit a figure. And it's really sturdy. It might be bad for balance because it's probably gonna make the figure a little one-sided heavy. But yeah. There's a peg here, and I'm pretty sure all you do is just slide it into the hands on either side. So that's good. This works for both left and right. And then you get basically Venom spikes for him to attack someone with. Really well done. These are all painted very nicely in the same dark purple hue. Well, people say this figure's purple, but I kind of see more as like a very deep blue. There's almost a bit of blue. And then these are essentially just extension pieces right here. These peg onto the back of the figure. You use these pegs to plug into the back, and then these can plug in to this piece right here. Basically, just a spike. There were complaints about how, for some reason, they didn't match up these two pieces with another piece of this, so we have a mismatch. I really don't know why they did that. They definitely could have just fit one more in here. That's all the accessories you get. Definitely a decent spread. I would have liked to see Venom specific web swinging effects, like how all the Spider-Men come with, you know, their own webs. But that's definitely a decent spread. For $50, I think you get a pretty nice value. And now I'll do some more size comparisons. So earlier I showed you guys the Mafex comic book Spider-Man. Here's the official Mafex Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Here is the Mess Toys Scarlet Spider. I painted this figure myself to add some cell shading. Definitely towers over even these Rebel-type bodies, which are a little taller than other Spider-Man figures. Here is a Marvel Legends Andrew Garfield. This figure is already tall for Spider-Man, but he barely reaches, I think that's his chest. He barely reaches the Mess Toys Venom chest. And then for a bit of a shorter character, here we have a Marvel Legends Wolverine. Yep, barely to his middle region, I think. Here we have Hatsune Miku from Blockies. She's actually quite tall. She's a lot taller than I thought she would be. And I don't even have her standing up fully straight. She reaches the chest. And then for one last comparison, here we have Black Widow, Marvel Legends in a T-pose. She reaches about his chest area. Oh, yeah, she reaches the chest area. So this guy is definitely a very great size. Overall, this figure, man, it's just, wow. It's just really fun. If you want to get this figure for yourself, I'll have links in the description so you can check them out there. This guy retails for about $50, give or take, sometimes a little more. And I think for that price, it's a fair deal. If you would like to wait for a later batch, Mess Toys confirmed they will be doing a black color scheme version with updated joints so that hopefully the QC issues won't persist. So after everything, yeah man, this figure is essentially one of the best Venom figures. I'm gonna give this guy a solid 8.5 out of 10.